The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Chen walked in with her companion. Every alien delegate in the room froze. Some leaned forward in their seats. Others pulled back in fear. A few actually stood up and moved toward the exits. Walking beside the human ambassador was a creature that should not exist in civilized space. A wolf. A genuine earth wolf with gray and white fur, amber eyes, and muscles that rippled under its coat with each step. Chen noticed the reaction but continued walking calmly toward the speaker's platform. The wolf stayed at her side, its paws making soft, clicking sounds on the polished floor. When she reached the podium, the wolf sat down beside her, tongue hanging out slightly, looking almost bored. The Vrexian counselor was the first to speak. His voice came out as a high-pitched squeak through his translator. "Ambassador Chen, what is that creature doing here? Our security protocols clearly state that no apex predators are allowed in council chambers." Chen smiled and placed her hand on the wolf's head. The creature leaned into her touch, eyes half closing in contentment. "This is Luna. She's my companion and emotional support animal. She's perfectly safe, I assure you." A Krillin delegate stood up, her four arms waving frantically. "Safe? Safe? We have studied Earth's ecosystem extensively. That animal is a pack hunter. It evolved to take down prey much larger than itself. Its bite force can crush bones. How can you possibly call it safe?" The wolf yawned, showing rows of sharp teeth. Several delegates gasped and moved further back in their seats. Chen remained calm. "Luna has been with me for 5 years. She's well-trained and has never shown aggression toward anyone. In human society, wolves and their descendants have lived alongside us for over 15,000 years. The Threndil ambassador, a being that resembled a large beetle, clicked his mandibles nervously. "Ambassador, perhaps you don't understand. In galactic civilization, we have protocols. When a species reaches sapience, they distance themselves from dangerous predators. They build walls. They create barriers. They ensure such creatures cannot harm them. What you're describing is madness." Chen's smile widened. "We did build walls and barriers, but not to keep wolves out. We invited them in. They helped us hunt. They warned us of danger. They kept us warm on cold nights. We didn't just tolerate them. We formed a partnership that changed both our species forever." A Zephlon counselor spoke up, his scales shifting to a worried purple color. "But the resources. Surely feeding such a creature must be expensive? And the danger to your young? How do you protect your offspring from these predators?" Luna chose that moment to lie down completely, rolling onto her back with her paws in the air. Chen reached down and rubbed her belly. The wolf's tail thumped against the floor in happiness. "Our young often grow up with wolves and their descendants," Chen explained. "We have images and videos of human babies sleeping next to these animals. The wolves protect them, guard them. There are countless stories of dogs, which are domesticated wolves, saving human children from danger." The chamber erupted in shocked murmurs and chittering sounds. The concept seemed to break something fundamental in their understanding of how civilization worked. The Vrexian counselor pulled up a holographic display. "I'm looking at the data on this species right now. Gray wolves, Canis lupus, bite force of over 400 pounds per square inch. Can run at speeds up to 40 miles per hour. Pack hunters with complex social structures and communication. They take down prey species including creatures weighing over 1,000 pounds. And you're telling us you brought them into your homes?" Chen nodded. "Not just into our homes, into our hearts. We consider them family members. When they pass away, we mourn them. We breed them selectively, creating hundreds of different varieties suited for different purposes. Some help us herd other animals, some help us hunt. Some help disabled humans navigate the world. Some provide emotional comfort. Some work with our military and law enforcement." A small Pixan delegate spoke up, her voice barely a whisper. "But how? How did you make them loyal to you? Did you use genetic engineering, neural implants, chemical control?" None of that, Chen replied. We offered them food. We offered them shelter. We offered them companionship. And they chose to stay. Over thousands of generations, we selected the ones that worked best with us. They became different from their wild cousins. They learned to read our facial expressions, our body language, our emotional states. They can understand dozens or even hundreds of our words. Chen looked down at Luna. Luna, speak. The wolf let out a short, sharp bark that echoed through the chamber. Several delegates jumped in their seats. Luna, shake! The wolf sat up and lifted her right paw. Chen shook it solemnly. Luna, play dead. The wolf flopped onto her side dramatically, tongue lolling out, lying completely still. Luna, come. The wolf jumped up and trotted to Chen's side, sitting down and looking up at her expectantly. The delegates stared in stunned silence. The Krillin delegate's voice shook as she spoke. This is unprecedented. We have domesticated animals, of course, herbivores that produce food, small creatures that eat pests, but never an apex predator, never something that could kill us. Chen's expression turned serious. That's the point. Humans didn't become the dominant species on Earth by avoiding danger. We survived by forming alliances, by turning potential threats into partners. Wolves weren't the only ones. We did the same with horses, powerful animals that could easily kill a human with a single kick. We partnered with birds of prey for hunting. We even have relationships with other predators like cats and ferrets. A new voice spoke up from the back of the chamber. It was the Korvath delegate, a species known for their military prowess. Ambassador Chen, you said these creatures work with your military. Please explain. Chen nodded respectfully. Military working dogs can detect explosives, track enemies, and patrol dangerous areas. They can enter spaces too dangerous or too small for humans. They have senses far superior to ours, able to smell things we cannot, and hear frequencies beyond our range. They've saved countless human lives in combat situations. The Korvath leaned forward with interest. And they obey commands even in combat? Even when frightened? They do more than obey, Chen said. They show initiative. They problem solve. They've been known to disobey orders if they sense their human partner is in danger. There are stories of military dogs taking bullets meant for their handlers, throwing themselves between their humans and threats. The chamber fell silent again. This concept seemed to disturb the delegates even more than the idea of living with predators. The Threndil ambassador spoke quietly. Why would they do that? Why would they sacrifice themselves for another species? Chen's voice softened. Because we're packed to them. We're family. The bond between a human and their dog goes beyond simple training or conditioning. It's love, genuine, deep affection that flows both ways. She gestured to Luna. When I come home after a long day, Luna greets me like I've been gone for years, even if I was only gone for hours. When I'm sad, she stays close to me. When I'm sick, she refuses to leave my side. She doesn't do this because she's programmed to or because she's been genetically modified. She does it because she cares about me. A Zephlon scientist stood up. Ambassador, I must ask, what about the dangers? Surely there must be incidents, attacks. Of course there are incidents, Chen admitted, but they're remarkably rare considering how many of these animals live alongside humans. Billions of positive interactions happen every single day. When problems do occur, it's usually because of poor training, abuse, or medical issues. A well-treated, properly trained dog is extremely safe. The Vrexian counselor pulled up more data. I'm seeing here that humans have created breeds of these wolves that weigh over 200 pounds. Some breeds were specifically designed for fighting, for protection, for aggression. This seems incredibly dangerous. Chen didn't deny it. Some breeds are more challenging than others. But even the most powerful breeds, when raised with love and proper training, are gentle with their families. There are images of tiny human babies lying against massive dogs, using them as pillows. The dogs could easily harm these children, but they don't. They protect them instead. Luna stood up and stretched, then walked to the edge of the platform. She looked out at the assembled delegates with curious eyes. A few delegates actually whimpered in fear. "She won't hurt anyone," Chen assured them. "Watch." Chen pulled a small ball from her pocket and tossed it across the chamber. Luna's eyes tracked it immediately. She looked back at Chen, tail wagging hopefully. "Luna, fetch." The wolf bounded after the ball, grabbed it in her mouth, and brought it back to Chen. She dropped it at Chen's feet and sat down, tail still wagging. The Pixan delegate spoke up again. "The creature seems to enjoy this? This seems like play behavior?" "It is play behavior," Chen confirmed. "Wolves are intelligent social animals. They need mental stimulation and physical activity. Play serves important purposes for pack bonding and maintaining skills. When humans and wolves play together, it strengthens our bond." The Korvath delegate asked another question. "You mentioned different varieties bred for different purposes. How many varieties exist?" Chen smiled. "Hundreds. Maybe over 400 distinct breeds, depending on how you classify them. Some are tiny, weighing just a few pounds, bred as companions. Some are massive working animals. Some have short coats, some have long coats. Some are built for speed, others for strength. Some are bred for their appearance, others for their abilities." She pulled up a holographic display showing dozens of different dog breeds. The delegates stared at the variety. Tiny Chihuahuas next to massive Great Danes, sleek Greyhounds next to fluffy Pomeranians, wrinkly Bulldogs next to elegant Afghan Hounds. "All of these came from wolves?" the Threndil ambassador asked in disbelief. "All of them," Chen confirmed. "This is what 15,000 years of partnership looks like. We shaped them, and they shaped us." Some scientists believe that our relationship with wolves was crucial to human development. They helped us hunt more effectively. They alerted us to danger. They may have helped us outcompete other human species. The Krillin delegate shook her head. "This is disturbing on multiple levels. You're describing a relationship where you fundamentally altered another species to serve your needs. Isn't that unethical?" Chen considered this carefully. "It's a fair question. But dogs didn't just serve us. We served them too. We gave them consistent food, shelter, medical care, protection. Wild wolves face constant challenges, starvation, disease, injury, competition. Domestic dogs live longer, healthier lives, and humans have been profoundly changed by our relationship with them too. They've made us more empathetic, more responsible, more connected to the natural world." She paused. "But there's something more important. Dogs had a choice. At every step they could have left, returned to the wild. Some did. But most stayed. They chose us, just as we chose them." The Vrexian counselor stood up. "Ambassador Chen, I must be honest. This entire concept terrifies most species in the Galactic Council. The idea of living alongside apex predators goes against every survival instinct we have. But I'm curious. Why did you bring your wolf here today? Surely you knew it would cause this reaction." Chen's expression grew serious. "Because humans are applying for full membership in the Galactic Council, and you need to understand who we are. We're the species that looked at one of the most dangerous predators on our planet and said, 'Let's be friends.' We're the species that turned threats into family members. We're the species that doesn't run from danger, but finds ways to work with it, understand it, and ultimately benefit from it." She gestured to Luna, who had lain down again and was watching the proceedings with calm eyes. "This is humanity's strength. We build bridges, we form alliances, we find common ground. If we can do this with wolves, imagine what we can do with other species in the galaxy. We don't see differences as obstacles, we see them as opportunities." The chamber was silent for a long moment. Then the Korvath delegate stood up. I move that we proceed with humanity's membership application. A species that can turn apex predators into loyal companions is a species that could bring valuable perspectives to the Council. Slowly, other delegates began to nod or signal their agreement in their various ways. The Vrexian counselor looked at Luna one more time. The wolf's tail wagged slightly as she met his gaze. He made a sound that might have been a laugh. Very well. But Ambassador Chen, please warn us next time you bring your companion. Some of us need time to prepare our hearts. Chen smiled and reached down to pet Luna. I'll send advance notice in the future. Thank you for understanding. As the meeting concluded and delegates filed out, many of them gave Luna a wide berth. But a few, the braver or more curious ones, approached slowly. Chen encouraged them to let Luna sniff their hands. The wolf was gentle with each one, tail wagging, accepting their tentative touches. The Pixan delegate, the smallest being in the room, reached out with a trembling hand. Luna's nose gently touched her palm. The delegate let out a soft sound of wonder. She's so warm and soft. That's the magic of the bond, Chen said quietly. Fear can become friendship. Distance can become closeness. All it takes is the courage to reach out and the wisdom to meet in the middle. As they left the chamber, Luna walked beside Chen, perfectly calm, perfectly content. Behind them, the delegates of the Galactic Council whispered to each other, trying to understand the species that had accomplished the impossible. Humanity had tamed the apex predator, not through domination or force, but through partnership and love. And that, more than any technology or weapon, was what made humans truly extraordinary in the galaxy. The wolf and the human walked together into the wider galaxy, ready to show the universe what genuine partnership could accomplish. Together, they would face whatever challenges came, just as their ancestors had done for 15,000 years. It was the beginning of a new era, for humanity and for the Galactic Council. An era where old assumptions would be challenged and new possibilities would emerge, all because one species had looked at a predator and seen a friend.